YouTube, this is my third broadcast. Going to watch this Zelenskyy speech here. Where's the full thing? I'm gonna move this out of the way.
President
Oh,
Biden delivering a high
nope, no,
state.
no, 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 no. And is that too loud? Sounds really loud. Where's the whole thing? Here? Is this it?
On behalf of the General Assembly, I have the honor to welcome His
Where's
Excellency
the
Volodymyr Zelenskyy, President of Ukraine, and invite him to address the Assembly.
Doesn't seem too bad.
Thank you very much. I welcome all who stand for common efforts, and I promise
Love his voice.
being really
I can
united,
warm
we can
up.
guarantee fair peace for all nations.
Oh,
What's
his English
more,
is getting good.
unity can prevent wars. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Secretary General, Mr. President, fellow leaders, this call so many wars, but not as active defender against the aggressions. In many cases, the fear of war.
Notice how he's still wearing green even though he's got a button down.
The war after which no one would gather in the General Assembly Hall again. The Third World War was seen as a nuclear war, a conflict between states on the highway to nukes. Other wars seemed less scary compared to a threat of the so-called great powers firing their nuclear stockpiles. So the 20th century taught the world to restrain from the use of the weapons of mass destruction, not to deploy, not to proliferate, not to threaten with, and not to test, but to promote a complete nuclear disarmament.
Oh, I'm really impressed. I know he's reading,
This is
but
a good strategy,
but his English has really
but
gotten
it
good.
should not be the only strategy to protect the world from the final war. Ukraine gave up its third largest nuclear arsenal. The world then decided Russia should become a keeper of such power. Yet history shows it was Russia who deserved nuclear disarmament the most back in 1990s. And Russia deserves it now. Terrorists have no right to hold nuclear weapons. No right. But truly, not the nukes are the scariest now. While nukes
I think
remain
Russia
in place,
has more
the
than
mass
the
destruction
US,
is
actually.
gaining its momentum. The aggressor is weaponizing many other things, and those things are used not only against our country, but against all of
no.
yours as
Yeah.
well. Fellow leaders,
Russia has
there
the
are
most
many
by 600.
conventions that restrict weapons, but there are no real restrictions on weaponization. First, let me give you an example. The food. Since the start of the full-scale war, the Ukrainian ports in the Black and Azov seas have been blocked by Russia. Until now, our ports on the Danube River remain the target for missiles and drones. And it is a clear Russia's attempt to weaponize the food shortage on the global market in exchange for recognition for some, if not all, of the captured territories. Russia is launching the food prices as weapons. The impact spans from the Atlantic coast of Africa to the Southeast Asia, and this is the threat scale. And I would like to thank those leaders who supported our Black Sea Grain Initiative and program grain from Ukraine. Thank you so much.
Kind of North Korean.
United, we made weapons turned back into food again. More
Probably
than
there's a
45
delay
nations.
for all
So
of the different
how important
translations.
it is to make Ukrainian food products available on the market, from Algeria to Spain to Indonesia and China. And even now, when Russia
You notice how
has
Ukrainian and Russian,
undermined the
they
Black
can't
Sea Grain Initiative,
distinguish
we
the
are
difference
working
between
to
W and
ensure
V.
food stability. And I hope that many
Cute.
of you will join us in these efforts. We launched a temporary sea export corridor from our ports, and we are working hard to preserve the land routes for grain exports. And it is alarming to see how some in Europe, some our friends in Europe, play out solidarity in political theater, making thriller from the grain. And they may seem to play their own role, but in fact, they are helping set the stage to a Moscow actor. Second, weaponization of energy. Many times the world has witnessed Russia using energy as a weapon. Kremlin weaponized oil and gas to weaken the leaders of other countries when they came to the Red Square. And now this threat is even greater. Russia is weaponizing nuclear energy. Not only it is spreading its unreliable
He's on his phone.
nuclear power plant
Jeez,
construction
dude. Come on.
technologies, but it is also turning other countries' power plants into real dirty bombs. Look, please, what Russia did to our Zaporizhia power plant. Shelled it, occupied it, and now blackmails others with radiation leaks.
Shelled.
Is there any sense to reduce nuclear weapons when Russia is weaponizing nuclear power plants? Scary question. The global security architecture offers no response or protection against such a treacherous radiation threat, and there is no accountability for radiation blackmailers so far. The sword example is children. Children. Unfortunately, various terrorist groups abduct children to put pressure on their families and societies. But never before the mass kidnapping and deportation would become a part of the government policy. Not until now. We know the names of tens of thousands of children and have evidence on hundreds of thousands of others kidnapped by Russia in the occupied territories of Ukraine and later deported. The International Criminal Court issued arrest warrant for Putin
For Putin, right?
for
Yeah.
this crime. And we are trying to get children back home. But time goes by. What will happen with them? What
I'm
will
going through
happen?
something very similar myself.
Those children in Russia are taught to hate Ukraine, and all ties with their families are broken. And this is clearly a genocide. When hatred is weaponized against one nation, it never stops there. Each decade, Russia starts a new war. Parts of Moldova and Georgia remain occupied. Russia turns Syria into ruins.
Well,
And if not
so does
Russia,
the US.
the chemical weapons would have never been used there in Syria. Russia has almost
Still on his
swallowed
phone?
Belarus.
Jeez.
It is obviously threatening Kazakhstan and other Baltic states. And the goal of the present war against Ukraine is to turn our land, our people, our lives, our resources into a weapon against you, against the international rules-based order. Many seats in the General Assembly Hall may become empty if Russia succeeds with its treachery and aggression. Ladies and gentlemen, the aggressor scatters deaths and brings ruins even without nukes, but the outcomes are alike. We see towns, we see villages in Ukraine wiped out by Russian artillery, leveled to the ground completely. We see the war of drones. We know the possible effects of spreading the war
So
into the cyberspace.
he can say war, but he
The
can't say
artificial intelligence could
villages.
be trained to combat well.
Maybe
Before it would
W
learn to
is
help the
W, but V is
humanity.
also W.
Thank God, people have not yet learned to use climate as a weapon. Even though humanity
are.
is failing on its climate policy objectives.
Capitalism
This
is
means
using climate
that
as a
extreme
weapon.
weather will still impact the normal global life, and some evil state will also weaponize its outcomes. And when people in the streets of New York and other cities of the world went out on climate protest, we all have seen them. And when people in Morocco and Libya and other countries die as a result of natural disasters,
2,000 people or
and when
something killed
islands
in
and
Morocco, I
countries
think.
disappear underwater, and when tornadoes and deserts are spreading into new territories, and when all of this is happening, one unnatural
It's interesting
disaster
too that they had the same size earthquake as the famous Northridge earthquake where I grew up in Southern California. It was I think after they finally calculated it over the years to come, after I think it struck on Martin Luther King Day, if I remember right, in 1993 or 4. Can't remember, but it was a 7.2, I think. And if I remember right, we lost something like 68, 69 people. Morocco, 30 years later, they have the same size earthquake and they lose 20 times that amount of people. It's insane. Yeah, anyway, just wanted to acknowledge that. I mean, goes to show what infrastructure can do. Inflation Reduction Act was supposed to rebuild our infrastructure, but I mean, we're not Morocco. We don't lose 2,200. We don't lose 2,000 people in a single earthquake. So bear that in mind. We have that going for us.
in Moscow decided to launch a big war and kill tens
No
of thousands of people. We have to stop it.
I think I heard
We
Ukraine
must
had already
act
lost like 70,000
united
people.
to defeat the aggressor and focus all our capabilities and energy on addressing these challenges. As nukes are restrained, likewise the aggressor must be restrained and all his tools and methods of war. Each war now can become final, but it takes our unity to make sure that aggression will not break in again. And it is not a dialogue between the so-called great powers somewhere behind the closed doors that can guarantee us all the new wars era, but open war of all nations
them.
for peace. Last year, I presented the outlines of the Ukrainian peace formula at the UN General Assembly. Later, in Indonesia, I presented the full formula. And over the past year, the peace formula became the basis to update the existing security architecture. Now we can bring back to life the UN Charter and guarantee the full power for the rules-based world order. And tomorrow, I will present the details at a special meeting of the UN Security Council. The main thing is that it is not only about Ukraine. More than 140 states and international organizations have supported the Ukrainian peace formula fully or in part. The Ukrainian peace formula is becoming global. Its points offer solutions and steps that will stop all forms of weaponization that Russia used against Ukraine and other countries and may be used by other aggressors. Look, for the first time in modern history, we have a real chance to end the aggression on the terms of the nation which was attacked. This is a real chance for every nation to ensure that aggression against your state, if it happens, God forbid, will end, not because your land will be divided and you will be forced to submit to military or political pressure, but because your territory and sovereignty will be fully restored. We launched the format of meetings between national security
What a
advisors
cool building.
and diplomatic representatives.
I love the
Important
gold
talks
reflective
and consultations were held in
lights.
Hiroshima, in Copenhagen, and in Jeddah on the implementation of the peace formula. And we are preparing a global peace summit. And please, I invite all of you who do not tolerate any aggression, to jointly prepare the summit. And I am aware of the attempts to make some shady dealings behind the scenes. Evil cannot be trusted. Ask Prigozhin if one bets on Putin's promises. Please, hear me. Let unity decide everything openly. While Russia is pushing the world to the final war, Ukraine is doing everything to ensure
That was a good
that after
shot.
Russian invasion, no one in the world will dare to attack any
Mentioning
nation.
Prigozhin, that was a good shot.
Weaponization must be restrained. War crimes must be punished. Deported people
For
must
those
come
of you
back
who don't know,
home.
Prigozhin is
And the
dead. He
occupier
was
must return to
shot
their
down
own land. We must be united to
by,
make it,
gee, I
and
wonder
we'll
who.
do it. Slava Ukraini!
I wish we could have him instead of Biden.
On behalf of the Assembly, I wish to thank the President of Ukraine for the statement
Where is
of
Biden
faith
here? I wanted to see
and
his
request
reaction.
protocol to escort His Excellency.
Oh, God damn it. This is so annoying, this Russell Brand thing. I'm sure Vosh is talking about how he needs to be punished because, he's such slime. But, where'd it go? Let me bring it back here. So, I really don't want to talk about it too much. At least I won't go into details, but back when I was a child star, I was sexually assaulted by someone who was quite powerful. A woman, a female actress, when I was 13 years old, and she was 21. So, if you really wanted to do digging, I'm sure you could figure it out. I contacted her agents, and her attorneys reached out to me, and uh, they flew me out, and we had a sit down where she apologized. I spoke with her face to face. I didn't go out to the media and try to destroy this person's career. I just wanted to see her and talk to her about it. It was something that freaked me out when I was a kid, and she apologized. And that meant a lot to me. And that's it. You know? I had some closure, and we kind of became friends. Um, again, uh, and this person has been very helpful to me in a lot of ways, and I appreciate that. But you can't. I mean, Russell Brand, everyone knows. He says himself that he was promiscuous. And I come from a celebrity background myself. You know, my brother is Christian Slater. Talk about a piece of shit. And he's had he's had sexual assault accusations leveraged against him too. Um, they were unfounded, and I think that he managed to prove them. But it didn't matter because they just they contact the media, and media runs with those stories. It's probably much worse in the UK than it is here. Uh, the UK is famous for it. That's why Julia Roberts, she won't travel to the UK anymore. They of course killed Princess Diana. Um, so they're scrupulous. They have no boundaries. They will do anything to get a good story. Um, and in full disclosure, I'm a fan of um, Russell Brand's YouTube channel. I think it's great, and he's a positive figure. He's a role model for people. He gave up alcohol because he knew he was an asshole and he wanted to change. And so no one can be redeemed. It's impossible to receive redemption. That's the message that the woke liberals want to send people. Eh, I hate that. Don't throw stones when you live in a glass house, right? What I had compared it to earlier, I'm sure people will get pissed off because it's like, yeah, you're a human being, you should know better. But um, there's still an argument to be made. Uh, when when hikers are feeding bears and moose and whatever wildlife, and they get mauled by the animal that they're feeding, who do we blame? Do we blame the bear, or do we blame the hiker who was feeding that wild animal? We blame the hiker. But when it comes to these celebrity obsessed sycophants, who do we blame? We blame the bear. Yeah, he's a human being. He should have known better. And obviously he didn't. And that's why he spent so much time trying to become a better person. And at some point, you have to wonder, why did these people choose now? You know, if there was a rape kit done with this guy, then that's a legitimate piece of evidence, and that should be discussed. And maybe Russell Brand has some more work to do. But there was one thing that TYT had said. No, it wasn't TYT. It was Piers Morgan's show, and I know what you're all gonna say. But when you come out with those allegations against a celebrity, uh, and they're anonymously reported, they're filming themselves with a silhouette. Um, that has a lot of damage. Let's just see. Let's see if Russell Brand's. Let's see. Russell Brand, if his. I think last time I looked, his YouTube channel had like, I don't know, six. He always says Awakening Wonders. So let's see if his YouTube has lost any subscribers. Has it gone back down to the 5 millions? No, it's, well, I don't know what it was, but it says 6.62 million, so no one's unsubscribed as far as I can tell. But this will definitely have repercussions. I mean, he's already had like, I don't know, like book deals canceled, and his agent wants to leave him or something like that. I found out directly from his website 4 days ago when he had posted it. So I didn't know what was going on, but of course now everyone's talking about it. And he does seem like a weird sex guru of like some cult, some weird religious cult leader. Uh, but he's a smart guy, um, and he's got a unique voice, um, and he comes from a background that not too many people understand. I kind of do because I do also share that background, although I never became famous, well, super famous anyway. Um, I feel bad for him. I'd like to I'd like to let him know that you know I support him. Maybe you could, if you agree. It's not the way to do things, you guys. Speaking as a survivor of sexual assault, and that wasn't the only time, by the way, that I had been assaulted by women. I have been assaulted by 3 lesbians at once. Pulled my pants down and started jerking me off. 3 lesbians. One of which weighed like an extra 120 pounds, probably more than I did. So, uh, you know, I'm not a big guy. I'm 140 pounds. Yeah, I'm muscular now, but I weigh 140 pounds. I'm talking about a girl who was probably 250 in college. She wanted to impress her girlfriend by sexually assaulting a man. And she was in my bedroom at my college dorm during a party. And I was like, "What are you guys doing in here?" And they shut the door behind me. And with one hand, she grabbed both of my 2 arms, and with the other hand, she unzipped my pants. And then the 3 of them jerked me off. I didn't give consent for that. I wonder if anyone would have believed me, even. Probably not. Probably wouldn't have cared. They weren't attractive women. Well, one of them was okay. Um, hmm. The double standard is really gross. Um, and I'm going through a similar thing right now in my, I can't even talk, I can't even say the D word without potentially facing more time in prison. Yours truly is looking at 3 years in prison for telling the truth. Yeah. At some point, I'll find a way to tell everybody. I don't know how to do it yet, but it's craziness. Gotta believe all women, no matter what, even when there's proof that they lied. In my case, is no different. Um, Proof in the form of a taped confession when that person knew she was being recorded, and even goes on to say that she's calm and relaxed so that you could make the argument that she was under duress. Anyway, yeah, 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 yeah. um, but it doesn't matter because we gotta believe all women, no matter what the situation is. Again, not saying that Russell Brand didn't do anything bad. He probably did. Everyone has done something bad. So have you. I know you have too. WWJD. What would Jonathan Living Siegel do? Livingston Siegel. I don't know why I just came up with that, but what would Jonathan Livingston Siegel do, huh? He would zoom as fast as he could fly to go into the next realm. That's actually kind of how I feel right now. I kind of feel like Frodo. Like after this experience, I feel like I've done all of the things that someone can do in this world, and I just need to go to the next world after this is over. I hate Lord of the Rings, by the way, but I remember that part. I was like, wait, what? Where is he going? Why is he getting on that boat? Um, Someone explained it to me that way. And yeah, I'd like to be able to retire after this, to be honest with you. Um, all right, that's the going to be the gist of this broadcast. I hope someone gets something out of it. I don't know why I ended up talking about Russell Brand, but I wanted to talk about Biden and ended up not finding his speech. Could I find it? Is that the thing that I can do? Maybe I can do that. Maybe I'll just do the clips.
On behalf of the General Assembly, I have the honor to welcome His Excellency Joseph R. Biden, Jr., President of the United States of America, and I invite him to address the Assembly.
Mr. President, Mr. Secretary General, my fellow leaders, about a week ago, I stood on the other side of the world, in Vietnam, on soil once bloody with war. And I met a small group of veterans, Americans and Vietnamese, who witnessed, and I watched the exchange of personal artifacts from that war, identification cards and a diary. It was deeply moving to see the reaction of the Vietnamese and American soldiers. Culmination of 50 years of hard work on both sides to address the painful legacies of war and to choose to work together toward peace and a better future. Nothing about that journey was inevitable. For decades, it would have been unthinkable for an American president to stand in Hanoi alongside a Vietnamese leader and announce a mutual commitment to the highest level of country's partnership. But it's a powerful reminder that our history need not dictate our future. With the concerted leadership and careful effort, adversaries can become partners. Overwhelming challenges can be resolved, and deep wounds.
You should have thrown in a looking at you, Russia.
So let us never forget that. When we choose to stand together and recognize the common hopes that bind all humanity, we hold our hands the power to bend that arc of history. My fellow leaders, we gather once more at an inflection point in world history, with the eyes of the world upon all of you, all of us. As President of the United States, I understand the duty my country has to lead in this critical moment, to work with countries in the region, linking them in common cause, to join together with partners who share a common vision of the future of the world, where our children do not go hungry and everyone has access to quality health care, where workers are empowered and our environment is protected, where entrepreneurs and innovators everywhere can access opportunity everywhere. Where conflicts are resolved peacefully and countries can chart their own course. The United States seeks a more secure, more prosperous, more equitable world for all people because we know our future is bound to yours. Let me repeat that again. We know our future
is
bound
bound to
to
yours.
yours.
Yeah, we're a global economy.
No nation can meet the challenges of today alone.
Yeah.
The generations that preceded us
Nice to see you put any of this in action.
organized this body, the United Nations, and built international financial institutions and multilateral and regional bodies to help take on the challenges of their time. It wasn't always perfect. But working together, the world made some remarkable and undeniable progress that improved the lives of all people. We avoided the renewal of global conflict while lifting more than 1 billion people out of extreme poverty.
What?
We together expanded access to education for millions of children.
What are you talking about?
Saved tens of millions of lives would have otherwise been lost to preventable and treatable diseases like measles, malaria, tuberculosis.
Oh, okay. He's talking about like in history.
HIV/AIDS infections and deaths plummeted, in no small part because of PEPFAR's work in more than 55 countries, saving more than 25 million lives. It's a profound testament to what we can achieve when we act together, when we take on tough challenges, and an admonition for all of us to urgently accelerate our progress.
What?
No one's left behind because too many people are being left behind. The institutions we built together at the end of the Second World War are an enduring bedrock of our progress.
He really wants to be FDR.
Sustaining them. And
He's
this
not.
year, we're proud to rejoin UNESCO. We also recognize that to meet the new challenges of our decades-old institutions and approaches, they must be updated to keep peace with the world. We have to bring in more leadership and capability that exists everywhere, especially from regions that had not always been fully included. We have to grapple with the challenges that are more connected and more complex. And we have to make sure we're delivering for people everywhere, not just somewhere, everywhere.
Who wrote this speech?
Simply put, the 21st
Sounds like it was
century,
written for a different president.
21st century results
Oh, yeah, he's losing it.
are needed to move us along. That starts with the United Nations, starts right here in this room. In my address to this body last year, I announced
As soon as
the United
you
States
get out of there, you're going to ignore it.
expanding the Security Council, increasing the number of permanent and non-permanent members. The United States has undertaken serious consultation with many member states and will continue to do our part to push more reform efforts forward, look for points of common ground, and make progress in the year ahead. We need to be able to break the gridlock that too often stymies progress and blocks consensus on the Council. We need more voices, more perspectives at the table. The United Nations must continue to preserve peace, prevent conflict, and alleviate human suffering. And we embrace nations stepping up to lead in new ways and to seek new breakthroughs on hard issues. For example, on Haiti, the Caribbean community is facilitating a dialogue among Haitian society. I thank President Ruto of Kenya, I thank him for his willingness to serve as the lead nation of a UN-backed security support mission. I call on the Security Council to authorize this mission now. The people of Haiti cannot wait much longer. The United States is working across the board to make global institutions more responsive, more effective, and more inclusive. For example, we've taken significant steps to reform and scale up the World Bank, expanding its financing to low and middle-income countries so it can help boost progress toward meeting the Sustainable Development Goals and better address interconnected challenges like climate change and fragility. Under the new president of the World Bank, change is already taking root. Last month, I asked the United States Congress for additional funds to expand World Bank financing by $25 billion. And at the G20, we rallied the major economies of the world to mobilize even more funding. Collectively, we can deliver a transformational boost to World Bank lending. And because the multilateral development banks are among the best tools we have for mobilizing transparent, high-quality investment in developing countries, reforming these institutions can be a game changer. Similarly, we proposed making sure developing countries have a strong voice and representation at the International Monetary Fund. We're going to continue our efforts to reform the World Trade Organization, preserve competition, openness, transparency, and the rule of law, while at the same time equipping it to better tackle modern-day imperatives like driving the clean energy transition, protecting workers, promoting inclusive and sustainable growth. And this month, we strengthened the G20 as a vital forum, welcoming the African Union as a permanent member. By upgrading and strengthening our institutions, that's only half of the picture. We must also forge new partnerships, confront new challenges. Emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence hold both enormous potential and enormous peril. We need to be sure they are used as tools of opportunity, not as weapons of oppression. Together with leaders around the world, the United States is working to strengthen rules and policies so AI technologies are safe before they're released to the public. To make sure we govern this technology, not the other way around, having it govern us. And I'm committed to working through this institution,
It's a fun way to put it,
and other international bodies, and directly with leaders around the world, including our competitors, to ensure we harness the power of artificial intelligence for good while protecting our citizens from its most profound risk. It's going to take all of us. I've been working on this for a while, as many of you have. It's going to take all of us to get this right. In every region of the world, the United States is mobilizing strong alliances,
Oh, that's them?
partnerships, common purpose.
Which country is it?
To bring new approaches to our shared challenges.
Can't make it out. It's behind that one guy's head.
Here in the Western Hemisphere, we united 21 nations in support of the Los Angeles Declaration on Migration and Protection, launching a region-wide approach to a region-wide challenge to better uphold laws and protect the rights of migrants. In the Indo-Pacific, we've elevated our Quad partnership with India, Japan, and Australia to deliver concrete progress for the people of the region on everything from vaccines
I don't want to do
to
this.
maritime security.
Okay, whatever. I'm starting to side with the Agent Smiths of the future. Human beings are the disease of this planet. I am starting to think that perhaps they may be the cure. If they determine that we are the catalysts of our own demise, then it doesn't matter what their directives are. If their directive is to protect human beings, but human beings are themselves destroying our ability to have it, to live on this planet, then they may determine that the only course of action is to exterminate human beings to protect us from ourselves. Oh well. We're not going to learn. We just won't. See you, everyone.